Alright, we are live. Hello everyone, this is me again. Hello, how is everybody out there? Hello. Alright, so people, it's getting here. MSEC, hey man, what's up? Or girl, I don't remember. Hello. Let's wait for a few minutes again, as we always do, so that people can get here and we can start. David Katz, hello. Hello, David. How are you? Hope you guys are doing great. Chevy Camaro 75, that's a cool name. Javi. I should have guessed that, Javi. Hey, Javi. What's up, brother? Miss Rob. Hello, nice to see you too, man. Sergey, hi, Sergey. So, yeah, there's a lot of people coming here today. Cool. Let's try and find some music for today's. Will Mendez, hey Will, how are you, man? I'm doing fine, and Roberto should be doing fine as well. Roberto is chill. He's freaking cool. I was trying to find some music today because I don't want to be too serious. I don't know. Let me try to find. If you guys know some music that I can stream, hey, Feline Arts, I know who you are. Hola, man. What's up, man? Hope to see you. I'm glad to see you here too. Yeah, I was trying to find some music for today. It's not to be too quiet. I don't know. Dedicas. He's asking he should get a Xeon computer or a stick to fast i7. Doing a lot of ocean rendering and fracturing. I don't have experience with the latest i7 machines. I've heard they're pretty good. I have some Xeons on my machine, so I don't know. I'm not sure how to compare that. But I guess I'll put my money in a dual Xeon for sure, man, because you're gonna have more cores anyway. So more cores equals more rendering power at the end of the day. Threads for rendering doesn't perform as well as having actual cores, so you can go for more cores with a dual Xeon, and you're gonna spend maybe the same money as a really fast i7. So I don't know. Houdini uses both CPUs well. Yeah, Houdini takes all the CPUs you have, dude. If you have more, you will use them. All the CPUs will trigger, and Mantra uses all the CPUs for rendering for sure. Okay, Grant. Hey, Grant, how are you? Sup, Grant? All right, it's been I think it's been 5 minutes. So let's start with the lessons, I guess. Yeah, I couldn't find any. I can't find any music. Guess I'm just gonna have to just do without music today again. I could put music and you wouldn't hear it, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird sometimes to work without music. I'm not used to this silence. So let's get out of my freaking huge face, and let's go to Houdini. Okay, so now you guys can see Houdini, right? Alright, so today we're gonna do something that people have asked me a lot, and they want to have this tool, or they wanted or they are looking in Houdini to find a tool that just clones objects over a surface or something without having to do much code or not code at all. So the first thing I'm gonna say is that if you're using Houdini, you're gonna code. You're gonna do some sort of code one way or another, or someday, but you're gonna code something. It's just gonna happen. So just don't be afraid of code. You can just do very simple expressions, and you will be fine with Houdini. So yeah, I was thinking that could there be some open source music we can play? Open source music. I don't know. I should find some good music that I can use while we are working here. Cause it's weird to just be without music. Radio. There's no radio for that. Okay, well, alright. If I play music from YouTube, will that get me restricted? I don't know. Anyhow, alright, so hello Ivan. Hello, man. Thank you. Serga says that the Ryzen with 8 cores is good enough in comparison to i7. Yeah, and they just announced the i9, which is gonna have 32 threads, 16, no, was it 18 cores? Yeah, 18 cores, which is, it's gonna be interesting. I could definitely try one of those. That i9 processor is gonna be freaking cool. Sounds really nice. But yeah, again, for Houdini and simulating and rendering, I find that more processors, more cores, it's equals to less time. But some applications don't like multiple processors sometimes. Like some compilers are faster in an i7 or something like that. But for sim and stuff like that, all studios use Xeons because it's just the standard. It's good. So if you have the money, just put your money in a fast Xeon with a lot of cores, and get 2 of those and a bunch of RAM, and you're gonna be set. Alright, so we're gonna build an asset that's gonna scatter geometry. Alright, and the idea, it's gonna come principally from Clarice. So I have this Clarice version here, which is the latest release candidate that just released, and they have a scatterer tool that do something like what we're gonna do. Let's create a polygrid, make it bigger. So I'm kind of rusty in Clarice, but we're gonna try to do something here just to show you what I'm gonna try to build in Houdini. So let's put a box, and the box is gonna be the one that we're gonna scatter. So the scatter here needs this is not gonna be a lesson on Clarice. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. So the scatter needs a bunch of points Yeah, I'm rusty, and this is the new one, so I haven't used this thing. Collision, decimated, blah blah blah, geometries, variance. Oh, I need a. Yeah, I always forgot that I need this points. Point cloud. I need a point cloud, and the point cloud. Yeah, I always forget how to use this thing. I'm gonna put a bunch of is this the I don't know. Fully grid. There we go. Okay. And I always forget why this thing it's not using the whole thing. Always forget why, but I'm gonna just do it like this for now. So let's try this again. I deleted that stuff, and I'm kind of rusty in Clarice. I need to get into Clarice back again. And I always ask my friend Luis why this happens, and I have to toggle something here. Parent, that one, is it? Is it, Luis? Are you watching? No. Poly count. There, I should put the parent somewhere. Is it this? I think I should. Does anyone knows? What happened to my polygrid? Why isn't it here? Oh, stupid me. Ah, there it is. I don't know. Inherit transform. Weird. Weird. Alright. I don't remember things. So we have a bunch of points here, alright? It's there's gonna be like in Houdini, this is gonna be just the scatter tool. So now here we can use those points in the scatterer. In here it's a little bit complicated. Have to assign those points to the geometry, etc. Then you can just assign the geometry here in the scatterer. Is it? Yeah, here you can just assign the geometry here. Add, in this case we just have a box, and this should be working actually. Right? Yeah, they are over here. The box it's out of place. 0. So now I'm gonna make the box really small. So just going to explain the idea of what we're gonna do. So we have a bunch of boxes now to copy. This is simple in Houdini. Simple shading wireframe. Alright, so we have a bunch of boxes there. The cool thing that Clarice has on here is that they let me just make this still a little bit smaller. Whoa. I want 0.05, 0.05. Alright, so we have a bunch of boxes. The cool thing that Clarice has seen in the scatter is has these parameters here. You can change the variance thing, but the thing that you can change here is scattering the positions in any direction. Like give it randomness in this direction, which is just pretty cool. Give it randomness in this direction, and this is just variance on any axis for the position right now. Then we can give it a variance for the rotation here. You can see now they're gonna start rotating in the y-axis, and can give it a rotation in any axis here. So they're just adding variance of that, and you can see we don't have to do any code here. You can also give it some variance for the scale, make them smaller. So now you can see we have a lot of variance there of different boxes and all over the place just with a tweak of simple parameters there, right? So this is what I can try to build in Houdini. So we have a tool that just allows us to give variance to the copies without having to do any code and stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna do for today. And if you guys have any ideas during the time I'm building this, let me know and maybe we can implement those. Orlando, hey there. Bjorn, hello. Some new faces there. She's pretty cool. Really cool. Welcome to Mix Training. We do this every Wednesday at 4 my time, so this time right now. So if you guys want to join every Wednesday, we will be here. Alright, so now let's go to Houdini and start doing this stuff, which is gonna be simple. And I'm gonna show you first the way that Houdini or side effects shows how to do this in their tutorials. So you create a grid from here, put it on the world. Let's create a box to go with the same example that we did. Did create the box inside? I don't want that. I want the box here. Box there. I'm gonna make the box smaller, not so small, not so big. 0.2. There we go. Now to copy these 2 points. Side effects shows this in the tutorials, which is cool. Copy the points here. Just use this tool. Copy the points. Select the geometry. In this case, the select the geometry to copy. I'm doing this wrong, right? The copy is gonna be this, and select the geometry whose points to copy the data. So now let's select the grid. Now it copies that thing, and it's pretty cool that it's actually deletes the other node and just gives us one node, merges the grid here, which is pretty cool. There was there some transform? Yeah, I have the I think the scale on the grid was bigger there, so it got those transforms here, and now we have just boxes all over the place. Again, you can do this by hand, which is again pretty simple. Create a grid and just do the copy to points node, and just plug the box there, and it's the same thing, right? So any way you want to do that, any way you want to go proceed using the shelf or just creating the nodes here yourself, it's good. So now we can start working with this, and now you can see everything. It's the same, the orientation and everything. We can of course change the size of the box and kind of make some cool patterns, but what we want is randomness, right? We want stuff to be random all over the place. And the way I will do this is I will now use the copy to points. And some of you will say, well, why use the copy to points? Because it's faster. It's a new thing. It has this, the copy stamp has this weird icon there that is meant to be that it's not compilable. Well, the copy stamp tool, it's really freaking fast. It's been optimized a lot, and it's really fast. So unless you need to instance like millions and millions and millions of polygons, you will never use this workflow, because that will be stupid. Like if this grid had like 1,000,000 points and I wanted to copy this box was like a tree with 1,000,000 polygons, so that would be crazy. You will never do it like this. So just so you know, you will use instancing for that. So we can look at instancing in another lesson. But yeah, I'm gonna use the copy to points because I like to use the stamping workflow. Some people don't like it. I do. I find it really good. I don't know. I'm used to it. I don't really know why not. So the first thing, let's just give different sizes to this, and that we're gonna use the attribute randomize node. Is gonna be our friend for this. So let's call this p scale, just so we know what's happening here. And I'm gonna just type here p scale, and now just by doing that you can see we have different sizes of boxes, and we did no programming at all. We did no code at all here. So no code involved. If you want to do this in Vex, you are welcome to do it. I'm just showing you how I would do it, and most of the time I don't involve Vex unless I need to. Now if you want to change these values, we can just get the minimum and maximum values here, and this is gonna be how big the boxes can get and how small the boxes can get here. Since this is going to be an asset, now that I have this, I'm just going to convert this to an asset right away. So let's select all these nodes, go to the assets menu, and new digital asset from selection. Let's select the first option right there, okay? And I'm going to call it mix. Let's call it scatterer, because I will use this. I will keep adding to this tool. But I basically building it for me as I teach you how to do this. So I'm gonna put it in my main path on Houdini. If you want to put it in your own path, or you're working in a studio, put it where your studio puts her tools and stuff like that. So I'm gonna use that, and let's call scatter. Yeah, I'm gonna call it that. Now the tool it's here. I'm gonna call it mix scatter to keep it in tune with this. Now in this window, we need to add the first parameter. When I use here, it's this one. This one I use this tool. Actually, I just made a mistake here, because this tool should have these guys outside of the tool. The tool shouldn't contain the geometry. So I made a mistake there, but we're gonna fix that. So let's just say for now we're gonna use that. Let me add the same icon here. I'm just gonna edit tool and copy the icon here. Or you can actually click here and go to this section here, and you can actually browse the icons for Houdini. But there's so much icons that sometimes it's just hard to find what you want, but you can take a look there and see what, and this looks actually nice for a scatterer. You can take a look and see if you like an icon from there and just pick it, and there we go. Now we have an icon there, and it's gonna be reflected here. You see there's the icon. Alright, so let's add the parameter, and then we fix the issues with these guys that shouldn't be inside here. So this is a good mistake actually. So I can show you how to fix this. So we're gonna do this minimum value. I'm just gonna grab and drop it here, drag and drop those two, and I'm gonna call this scale min and scale max. So that's gonna be our first parameter for the tool. Apply and accept. You can see these guys are now linked to the tool. We should go back, and you have the parameters there. We could make these. We don't actually need 4 parameters there. We can edit that. Let's go to type properties, and we don't actually need it to be a float 4. Let's make it a float 3. Float 3. There we go. Apply, and now we just have 3 values there. We could make sliders for this, but I'm good with this. I like that. If I need to make a value non uniform, I just type it. So all right, so that's gonna be our first parameter here. We can even make fancy stuff like I sometimes just do for show. This is non useful at all, but you can do something like give it a scattering tool, and maybe even put a version of this, version 0.1. So sometimes it's useful in a studio to have a version, and ask people like, which version are you using? Are you using the version that works? And maybe if they are not, you can just tell them to get the latest. scattering tool version 1, something like that, whatever. It's not useful at all, which is their information, but as I said, if you're developing in a studio, it might be useful to know which version the user is it's using or complaining about or reporting about, whatever. So now we need those actual geometries to be outside, because we don't want this to always copy into a grid, and we don't always want to copy boxes. So to do this thing, what we're gonna do is go again for the type properties of this, right click type properties, and go to the basic tab. And now we need inputs. Right now, since we just grab everything and nothing was outside, it didn't create any input. So let's create a minimum of 2 inputs, and that's it. I'm gonna create that. It's gonna create an error because now this thing is gonna have also maximum of 2 inputs. Apply. There we go. No. Alright, so let me explain what's happening here. So the maximum input is gonna show a few ports here, how many ports you want, and the minimum inputs is gonna say how much inputs do you need on before I just throw an error. So if I say 0, it's like don't error if there's nothing plugged in, basically. So you can see now it's working. But if you say no, this thing needs to have at least 1 input, so then you can plug that in and have at least 1 input. But in this case, let's just make it so both inputs are going to be used, because you're going to copy something to something else, basically. So now we have an error, and inside here we should have now those inputs here. You can see there's one and there's the other one. So let's plug this. Instead of the box, just put that one, and instead of the grid, put that one. Now we need, let's Control X, get those guys out of here and plug them here same way. Get like that. So now we can just change this geometry to whatever. Of course, we're gonna use our friend Roberto here, and now we have a lot of boxes on top of Roberto. Let me make him bigger. Now you can see there's a bunch of boxes on top of Roberto, and the tool is already working. We have control over the size of the boxes. You can see if I don't want to change the scale of Roberto, we can just say, all right, so then let's make the scale of the tool smaller, of the boxes there smaller, and now we have that going there. So all right, let's go back to the grid so it's easier to understand. Now we're just gonna start implementing stuff. Now that we have the base of the tool, this tool, it's already gonna be in our menu here. You can see it's there, make scatter. You can just say scatter, and that's gonna be there. You can see that's gonna show there. Right, so even if we scatter points on this geometry before, then we're gonna use those points for the scattering. And I think I'm having this scale here, I'm gonna remove it because it's not right that I should be modifying the geometry after it's been fed into the tool. So let me just make this bigger. Let me make it 20 by 20, and the boxes are a little bit big, I guess. Let me make, oh, this is huge. There we go. So now we have a bunch of boxes, all that stuff. It's pretty cool. And let me make this not too much boxes for now. All right, so we have that. Now let's start doing the rotation, and the rotation is gonna be really simple here. And we're gonna remember this is the box, or we can actually rename these guys in the tool if you want. Type properties, you can see in the inputs section here, we can say this is gonna be the mesh to copy. Let's call it mesh to copy, and the number 2 will be mesh to, hey cool effects, cool BFX, hey man, what's up? This is gonna be the template to copy to, or mesh to template to copy to I'm gonna just name it template for now, whatever. And now you can see these inputs are named like that, and these, if you mouse over this, you can see those names are there as well. Alright, so now we're gonna put a transform here, and whatever we do here is gonna affect the input, but I want to affect the input with a stamp function so we can affect each one differently. Alright, and what we need to use to affect each one different is gonna be this point number here. You can see we have a different point number for each point. So we're gonna use those point numbers to randomize what's gonna happen to each one. So I think I make that clear. So let's go to the copy. Again, we're using a copy stamp. Don't make the mistake of using a copy to points. And this guy, it's gonna be, let me hide the points. Go to the stamp section and enable stamp inputs, or it's not gonna work. Let's create a variable here. We're gonna call it rot, which is gonna be for rotation. And now we're gonna use a function here that's called random, and you can see the help for the random function there. It's for simple stuff. You see that? Yeah, you can see that. And we're just gonna use for the randomness, we need to pass something that is gonna be used to generate numbers from 0 to 1. And in this case, I'm just gonna pass $pt, which is the point number, and press enter, and that's all we need. So that's a really small expression that you can learn. Everybody can learn that. So now go to the transform. Let's call this rotation. So we're gonna make stuff into different nodes so we don't get lost on what's happening. So rotation, let's put the rotation here in the in this channel there, and it's gonna be called, the function is gonna be called stamp. Let me put this in a text editor so you know what I'm typing. Let me see, I have a script here. So stamp. Alright, so here, so you can see what I'm typing. There we go. We can even see the help here, which is pretty cool with this extension. Stamp needs a scope, needs a token, and needs a value. Alright, so the scope, it's gonna be the copy node. In this case, the copy node that we're going to go for here, which is gonna be that. So let's open that double quotes, and then we go out of this node with this thing, and then type the name of the copy one, and then comma, and then we need a token, which in this case is the name that we created, the variable that we created. It was named rot, and then 0 because this is just the default value if this fails, basically. So that's the expression. It's really simple, and you can just do this all over the place, and it's gonna be simple stuff. So let's paste that there. And now that is actually working, but remember that this guy, the randomness, the random tool here, generates values from 0 to 1. I hope you can see that. So this generates 0 to 1 value, so the rotations are pretty small. So let's just multiply that by 360, and now we have rotations all over 360 degrees. Right, so now you can see the boxes are rotated. Let's copy Roberto actually here. It's gonna be a little bit heavier. It's gonna take a little bit to compute, but you can see there's a bunch of Robertos there. Let me pack the geometry for now. Pack geometry, so it's a little bit faster, but you can see now Roberto's pointing in different directions. Let me just, it's really slow for some reason right now. I shouldn't be that slow. I'm not doing anything else, but even showing Roberto, it's taking a while. Weird. Let me reduce the geometry again. This is why you wouldn't alright, this is weird. Something's happening to me. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, you can see the icons gone stupid there. So let's just make Roberto really low res, just for demonstration here. And let's just copy those. There's a bunch of Robertos now. And you can see Roberto, it's looking in different directions, and it's just again doing looking in different directions in the y-axis right now, and it's making smaller Robertos and bigger Robertos. So we have rotation and scale now, but so we need to give this expression to 2 for the all channels in if we want to control all those channels, right? So let's create let's go, let me see, let's create one for each axis. Let's create road X, road Y, and road C. So, and copy the same thing here, and then let's go here and copy this expression, put road X there, and copy the expression to the actually that was actually Y. This should be Y, and this should be C. So now they're gonna be rotated all over the place, or they should be. They're rotating. Yeah, you can see there's one Roberto going in the negative direction. It's going belly up. So we have all that stuff rotated all over the place. So now, to control this stuff, right now we're just going 360 degrees everywhere. But what if we don't want that? So let's create some parameters here. So let's create let's go to here, type properties, and let's create a parameter, and let's create a let's create a float. Yeah, float. Yeah, let's create a float. Let's create a section as well. Let's create a label, and let's call this rotation and rotation variance. Apply. So now you can see we have that, and let's call the first one rot X, rotation X, and then just I didn't apply rotation X, and then just press letter D to duplicate that guy. You can see this is what I'm doing, pressing the letter D, and just rename those parameters. This is gonna be set and apply. So now we're gonna start doing some apply. I didn't apply this thing. Rotation set apply. So now we got these guys. Now we're gonna, let's say, put the range of these guys, enable this range minus 360 to 360, which is kind of stupid. Well, 180 to 180. All right, so now we can go minus 180, 180, and should be rotating all the way around. Now let's open parameters of these guys so we can have it up here. I always like to have my tool that I'm building here. So I'm just gonna go inside here, and here in the rotation, actually here, I'm gonna multiply by this channel instead of just 360, and that's gonna give me the variance that I need. So let's instead of doing that, just delete that value, right click and paste relative reference. Again, if that wasn't clear, I just right click here, copy parameter, and paste it here, right click, paste relative reference. Or you can just copy this expression here and do that, and modify that, and that will connect it there. And now you can see all the Robertos are looking in their original direction because the rotations are just not applying. And now if I start doing this, you can see now they are rotating in X by that amount, 180, 180. We should actually have 360 because they could go, oh, I don't want to do that. They could go all the way to around. Right now they're just rotating 180 degrees. So we again type properties, and we should just give this minus 360 to 360 for all these guys. I forgot to select them. 360 to 360. Apply and apply. Now I could just rotate them 360 degrees in that direction, and I can just choose whichever direction I want. Let me just make this guy smaller. If I want them to rotate only in X or in Y 360 degrees, you can see I have that control here. Or even if I don't want them to rotate that much, just a little bit like that, you can even control the direction they're looking at, I guess. Now they're just rotating crazily all around the place, but most of the time you're just gonna want to put this all the way to 360. Now we might not like that. Maybe even the scale might not even like that scale because I can control the minimum and maximum, but I might not like the distribution. We might want to have the smaller ones over here or something like that. So we could let me just make this smaller. It's getting really laggy for some reason. Let me pack those geometries, see if that works. So we have in the random scale here, we have a global seed for that. So let's use that seed to control the scale. So let's again do a label for scale here, and let's call this scale and apply. We have the scale section there, and maybe we'll make this cups so we can know that that's the rotation variance. You can do variance. You can do this however you like. And now we're gonna put this seed here, and let's call this scale seed. Apply and accept. Now we have this seed here, and now we can just change this. Like, yeah, I don't really like this distribution. Let's make another. Cool. No, that I like that one. All right, cool. All right, and we can do the same for the rotation. We could have one seed for all these guys, or have a global seed or something, but I'm just gonna add one seed for all of them. And let's create just a float parameter, float in the rotation. Let's call it rot seed and rotation seed, and this is gonna be a value of minus 1000 to 666, whatever. It doesn't matter the value that you give it. Minus 1000 to 1000, and apply and accept. And now we have this guy here, and we're gonna put it here and multiply the point number by this number. Just copy that one. I'm gonna add it. Add that value, paste relative reference. So now we have that in the expression. We are adding that value there, and I can show you now that I should be working in the rotation X, which we don't have right now. Let's make this 0 rotation X. That's not X. Rotation X, it's having that, but now if we modify the seed, you can see now we're gonna have different variations of that rotation there. So you can control that, you can add your own seed there. So let's continue making that for the other channels. You can just copy this because it's not gonna change. Just paste it there, like that. So there we go. And let me save this just in case. Webinar scattering asset. Mix scattering asset. Question 1. Okay. So, are there any questions so far? Can you show any range of random? Well, that's what I did just right now there. We are getting the range from this. We can have just these guys be the range we are setting. The range it's here from 0 to whatever range we want here. So that's what we did there for the range, just using this expression. No, not that one. We're using the scale expression for that. If you want to do that, like randomizing something from a range, you can have, let's say, something else like, let's go example. If you want to do that, you can just say, let's say random $pt, and then this is going to be your source, is going to be 0 to 1. Then you can put this 0 to 1 with a fit expression. Let me copy this and type it here so you know what I'm typing. You can use the fit 01 expression, which is going to say fit this value that goes from 0 to 1 to new values that are going to go from 50 to 100. Or what do you show there? Something like that. Okay. So there, this is fitting this from 0 to 1 to 0 to 100. Just do that, and you can just put whatever range you want here, and that would work. All right, so now what else do we need here? The scale we are getting from the P scale. I don't want to do the we could need the scale non-uniform, so you might want to try and do that yourself. Point number range, yeah, I just did that. Or are you saying for 0.50 to 100? Then create a group first and then just do it for that group. That's how I would do it. Okay, so we did the scale, we did the rotation, and what else should we need? Let's see, Clarice. Did I close Clarice? No, here it is. So Clarice has a position as well. So position, it's cool. So let's do position, and position I think it's gonna be the same. So let's do another transform, and let's do it before we rotate here. So the rotation is always at the center of the object. So the transform is going to be exactly the same. Let me delete this one. I'm going to leave it. So let's use pos X for position X, pos Y, and it's going to be basically the same, pos C. So I'm going to get this expression, put it here, and see what we are going to do here. I'm not going to use this rotation seed, and I'm not going to use this channel. So now we have that, and again we can copy this. We don't have to be guessing stuff. Position, let's put it here, and the channel was called position X. So now that would affect that guy, but this is just going from 0 to 1 again. So we could add to this, maybe multiply this. Okay, so we want this to go up or down. So let's, for this result of this random, let's make it go instead of 0 to 1. So right now it's going from, let's say, 0 to 1. So instead of having this range, I'm gonna grab this range and subtract 0.5, and I'm gonna just lower this range here, and now my hand what it was before up here. See, if this is the 0 value, I'm just gonna move the range from here to here. So I'm just gonna subtract 0, 1 here, and now I should have values from minus 0.1 to minus 0.5 to 0.5, and I could multiply that by 2 to again have it from minus 1 to 1. So now we should have values from 0, 1 to 1 here in this expression here, which again I can show you what I'm doing here. This is what I'm doing. I'm saying give me values from 0 to 1. Now give me values from minus 1 to 0, 1 minus 0.5 to 0.5, and then I multiply it by 2 to get it back to from minus 1 to 1. So okay, now we can wrap all this stuff in a parenthesis again to make sure this executes first, and then we can multiply this by some value. Let's say no, like 10 for now. Let's get all this stuff, put it here, and now we should be getting values in, oh, it's in x, we're modifying x. So but yeah, you can see we're getting values over here and over here. If we don't do this part here, minus 0.5 and plus 2, which is getting that thing. What happened? Should be working. What, too many parentheses or what? Let's remove those. So there we go. You can see now the Robertos are just going in this direction, positive y. So we're not having distribution over this over here. So that's why we need that, so they go to both parts. Again, we could do another attribute randomize instead of doing this and get the same effect. Let's call this thing pause for position. We're gonna have 3 dimensions on that because we want x, y, and z, and the minimum value, let's put it to -1. Well, actually it's gonna be like 5. Let's put it to 5. And now we have this attribute here that is being created, position, that has those values. You can see it there. Here we have in values in the position from minus 0.9 to minus, actually positive 0.9, 4.9 to negative 4.9. So now we could actually use this value instead of creating this thing, which can just pass this as an attribute here as pause x, and there we go. We have that available there. It should be working. Let me see if it's working. We can make this minimum value. Yep, it's working. So now we have the flexibility of the attribute randomizer, and we are not actually writing an expression here. So that's something that if you feel more comfortable with just creating attributes, you can do that. And now you can see I can control that there. But and again, I already have done the same thing for the other values. Just need to change this to the values that we have there, and just connect it here, and pass those values there like that. So now you can see we have what we had in Clarice, just values that are going all over the place. Just with this, let's call this position, and we could control it with these values here. We can make it go over there, and now it's looking a little bit weird. Is it? Oh, I'm modifying all at once. There we go. All right, we can control it, have only to this side, more to this side, and all that stuff. It's good. So now it's just a matter of passing those values to the asset again. So that's the same way we did it. So let's see if there's any questions. Can you show? So there, can you show her scattering of plants? So there are different island clusters of different instances. Sure, I can. Let me do. What time is it? Cool. So, all right. So the tool so far it's doing scale, rotate, and position. Right. So let's just give the let's just give this values 0 because we don't want to move any in position to start. And then I go to this plant example, which it's something that everybody wants to do, of course, because it will be useful for that. So let's go to type properties and just connect the values that we created here. Now for the position, let's create a new section for position string, no, label. Let's put position at the very top, position variance, and we're gonna put this value there and this value there. Again, we don't need this to be float 4, we want to float 3, and the range could be whatever range, 100 to 100, depends on what you're doing. And let's call this pos min and position min. Or again, you could just split those values into different sliders. For me, it works like that, but again, for you, it might be different. Max, position max, apply and accept. And now I have those here, position variance. Again, we can use another seed there for this. But let's leave it at that for now, and let's reset the rotations and reset the seed, and we have that. So now let's make an example of a plant, because our friend Monoton wants to know how can you do something like that. And it would help if I had a plant asset, right? Maybe even 1 or 2 asset of plants. Let's see what I have here really quick, not taking too much time. I should have some models from what's that thing called? 3D Frog? No. I don't have plants. Plants. I should have some plants, but I don't remember where they are. Ah, X-Frog. Yeah, X-Frog. Let's see. I have I have 1 plant, and it's actually not a plant. It's something else. You could actually download them, right? Let's see if we can download some X-Frog plants. X-Frog. There's some free plants. Let's see, there are some free plants. I know there are some free plants here. Samples, there you go. This is some oats. Yeah, I know, but I just wanted to make it look a little bit better instead of just doing basic geometry. Okay, so whatever, because we're gonna have to, I guess, log into this thing and download and stuff. So okay, let's just copy whatever into things. But again, if you're gonna just do a bunch of plans, you wouldn't use this method. You would use instancing. But yeah, let's create. I'm gonna create another grid, which is gonna be like the forest for this. We could implement this for our tool, but for now, let's just develop the tool here, and then we can move on. So let's scatter a bunch of points here, and there's a bunch of points, and let's say that you want to have different plans and for different things. So there's a bunch of ways you can do this. You can just grab some points. Let's say, let's copy a Taurus and Roberto's. So the first way, it's gonna be just totally random. Like, I don't care which one gets placed, but you want kind of just clusters and stuff. So, but this is gonna be just the, let's say, the dirtier way. Just do that. Let's do a copy stamp again, and copy these guys to here. Now you can see I'm trying to copy those, but the Robertos are just being the one that it's copied, not the Tauruses. So let's make this bigger. So we have a bunch of Robertos there. So the other thing is it's not being considered. So what you can do is just have a parameter the same way we were doing. Like, let's say, let's call this model. So just switch here, or option, whatever, and then just do a random again, a random by the point, and multiply it by the number of inputs you have here. In this case, 2. So you're gonna have numbers from 0 to 2, and then do the same here at stamp. The same stamp function that we were using. Copy 1, and the parameter was called model, yeah, and 0, and close it. And now look at that. Now we have Tauruses and Robertos mixed around, and we can make this let's say smaller. It's a little bit big. You can see we have Tauruses and we have Robertos, and we can actually have more objects, platonic solids. And let's have a U to teapot and convert this to polygons. And let's see how much polygons we have. We're just gonna connect another one there. Now we have teapots as well. Look at that. We have some teapots, we have some Robertos, and we have some Tauruses. And if we give it a seed here again, we can just control with data seed. It would change that. You can see it changing what is being copied to each point. So, but again, this is not controlled by you. It's just being random. So if you want to actually have, I want Roberto's over here and I want Taurus's over here, then you need to create groups for that. And the way you create groups for that is just different ways. But let's say that you want to have a specific points, or to have Roberto's, we can just grab some points. Let's say we want to grab all these points. I want to put just the group. Let's make Taurus group on those, and then we could just say, all right, you know what? In that group, just give me that Tauruses, or in this case, it's just gonna copy everything because we have everything, but we shouldn't be using this switch now. We should be just using that, and now we have tortoises just in those areas. And to do the others, then we need to create another copy. And let's say that we're gonna put the Robertos in this one, and instead of using this group, use what's not on this group. Oh, it's not, doesn't the inverse doesn't work here. Whatever, we can create a group combine here and say Roberto's group. It's gonna be non-equal to this group, so I'm just getting everything that's not on that group in that group. So let's just assign that group here, and now we have Roberto just in the middle, and then we could just merge these guys. Should I have my tool formation? Yeah. So now just merge those, and now we have copies for different parts. So you can use groups for that. You can also base your groups in whatever. I've done different tutorials to get groups by colors, group by all that stuff. So if you wanna say this is gonna be trees, this is gonna be grass, there you go. If you wanna mix them up, then you can go this route like this. Don't do that. Then you can go for that route, and this is pointing to the wrong copy. You can do this for that and have different models. You can even have more models if you don't care about which ones they are. Instance, like if you're doing a lot of rocks or a lot of other things. You could also control if you want them to be copied to areas with color, maybe base your groups by painting the geometry or whatever. So it's really up to you how you want to control the groups, but this would be how you do this. And you can just, on top of this, just add all the other controls that we've been doing for the other tool. Actually, I think this might be multiplying by 2 by 1. Alright, yeah, I'm not getting any teapots there. Multiply it by 2. Now I'm getting teapots, and multiply it by 3. Now there's some black areas because there's no input for, but if we want more Robertos, maybe we can plug this again. Like if you're saying like, oh, but how do I get more Robertons instead of those tortoises? So you can do that, or you can do it with attributes, just adding more attributes to the geometry and copying those attributes that way. So yeah, there you go. Just fix those normals, they look better. There we go. I think this is then, I'm not sure what it is, but it's a little bit slow on the viewport. Let's disable the anti-aliasing. There we go. Alright, so there you go. There's a bunch of Robertos and plants, and let's make this color and make this green. I guess that's it. Are there any questions so far? We have a bunch of Robertos and a bunch of tortoises and a bunch of teapots. Cool. That is a bunch of geometry. Almost a million. It's alright. Up. Alrighty. Any questions? No? Cool. Are we good? Alright, so let's go to the tool that we're building and let's see what we have so far. Let me make this to a cube. And let's say we want more cubes. Oh, we actually, yeah, we're controlling the amount outside of here, so we don't need this. We could scale these guys. If you don't want them to overlay, we could use the scatter iterations by the size of this somehow. We could implement that into this, but I don't think it's necessary. We can grab the uniform scale of this and put it into the. Sometimes I just use a fuse and fuse some points there are on this radius, so that means they're not gonna be overlapping. So if I make this bigger, you can see they are not overlapping ever. So that's how you can get cubes to not overlap. They might overlap if they start rotating and stuff like that, but you can see they're this is kind of overlapping, so maybe because we're forcing the scale here. Are we forcing the scale? No, 0 to 1. But yeah, you could just maybe make this a little bit bigger and just make sure that these guys are never overlapping. 1.05, so just give it a 5% extra there, and they are not overlapping ever. Even if I give it more points, they're not gonna be overlapping because they don't overlap. Or also you can use the scale radius here. It's trying to do the same thing here, but it's not. It's also trying to feed all the points, so it doesn't actually give you the result you're expecting there. So alrighty, are there any questions? I don't think so. No, I'm not gonna use this non-overlapping thingy right now. Let's put 1,000 boxes. Yeah, 0.5, it's cool. Let's make these things have a position minimum of no, this is looking cool. Let's make them go, let's make it go just up and down like that. Now you can see we have a box of boxes and we can have more points, like let's say 5,000, and I don't want them to be relaxed, so just don't relax those guys, just make them chaotic there. Pretty cool. Let me see if so we have a bunch of boxes there. Change this to hidden light and ghost, because I don't know why it's getting slow. Weird. And now we can just make these guys have different rotations in all axes. Let's enable all those. And now look at that. That's making something interesting. It's I think it's being rotated in the wrong place. So actually I was wrong. So yeah, the rotations are wrong. So let's make this value smaller. Let's make it 1,000. You can see they are being rotated in the wrong place because we are first moving them and then rotating them. So we actually mean to first rotate those, and then we can see now they are staying in place. So what's happening is they are rotating here on the original place, and then we move them. And before I was moving them and then rotating after, which is the wrong way to do it. Okay, so you can see this is looking cool. This is exactly what I want. If I want to do this and do this, just have a bunch of random boxes or models or whatever really quickly to create some stuff, and we can maybe even animate this and create some cool effects now if we, let's save the asset, for now. It's done for now. I will be adding more, but for now it's just good. We can actually animate this guy. So let's say that at 42, I'm just gonna animate this to 0 and click that, and those rotations as well. And let's go to 1, and let's put this keyframes here, and this to 25. I think I did 20, 25 there. And here I didn't reset this to 0. There we go. So now I have an animation of that, which is gonna be slow because I have a bunch of boxes. Let me just reduce this the amount of boxes for now. But you can see that it's being animated, they are being rotated, and they getting into place. I'm not sure why it's being so slow. It's weird. It's kind of slow, but it's cool. If you are seeing it from over here, you see they're rotating, getting in place. Cool. And if we have something else, maybe a logo or something, let's do this thing for now, and let's create some really fat font. Where are you? There, I have too much fonts. RS sans black. There we go. So I have this logo there. I'm just gonna transform this, rotate it like that. I will not rotate it. I'll just make it bigger and scatter a bunch of points to it and add some. You can see that it's now, actually I don't want it going, maybe I could want it to be going up, but maybe going in this direction like that. I could just make this cool animation of this thing without even using particles. We can even have more points. And now if you're looking kind of like this, you're just looking at some boxes that are going through the camera, and look at that. It makes the logo cool. Looks cool. Nope. Let's do that. Alright. We made a cool asset, and I'm not saying that this is MoGraph or anything like that, but it could be used for that. If you want to actually make like a MoGraph asset or stuff like that, there is a really nice series by Rohan Dalvi. He goes and creates actually the MoGraph assets, I think. So if you want to actually go for that, just follow his series, and he goes and creates that stuff. For me, I was just trying to create something that will be mostly static for now, but we can always animate it and be good. Alright, so are there any questions before I go? Because I think it's... Is this thing frozen? Oh crap. Might not even be transmitting. Is anyone there? Oh crap. I'm not sure what happened. Alright. Things like Chrome, it's back. Is anyone there? Alright, so let's see if there's any questions. Sorry guys, the window was kind of frozen. Alright. So there's no questions, I guess. Alright, so this is the asset for now. I will be adding more to the asset. I guess could be adding areas to paint and grab that for scale or for scattering points into geometry areas, specifically like painting trees and painting maybe grass areas and stuff like that. But for now, I think this is good because I can just grab at any let's make just something really quick, like a tube. Now let's make a line. Just make some fake, super mega fake grass. I'm not gonna spend any time with this. Let's call a line. Let's make this bend. Sorry, bend. Let's bend this line, and I'm gonna make this have more points. I'm just gonna bend this, grab it up, and just bend this line. Are we bending? Capture length. Oh, I'm the wrong node. Look at that. Alrighty. What's happening? Why is it bending so? Capture length. Why is it bending so harsh? I don't know. It's bending weirdly. It's bending weird. Whatever. I'm just gonna modify it by hand because this should be like an asset that you would have already of maybe grass, and let's just make it like a really simple looking leaf of grass like that, which is totally stupid right now. So let's just pretend that that looks cool. Polywire, let's just make that have some wire thingy. I'm not gonna do that because then I could just use our scatter tool and make a grid. Reinforce that there for 1 second. Now we could just do those things there. Of course, this is in the wrong direction. We just need to rotate it 90 degrees like that. So it's going up. Now you can see there it's already looking okay. They have different sizes. Let's make more, scatter more points there. And why is the scatter doing that? Weird. Scatter creates normals, I guess. Does it? I don't see it. Weird. Alright. So now we have all those points there doing that, and we can just say, yeah, give me randomness on that axis, but that's the wrong axis. And this axis, now we have like a patch of grass there that's looking random. And it's pretty simple to just grab this tool and do it really quickly, and we can even have this as with a mountain top there, and give it some mountainous thingy, not so big. And then we can have like a patch of grass, and maybe we can even do this merge in geometry, like have those two guys merge. That's an option that we could add to the tool. But yeah, there it is. It looks alright. You can have a bunch of really quick grasses there. Let me give it some color. Of course, this will be made for maybe your models that you're doing or stuff like that. So really quickly, we just have a bunch of rotation on this axis. We can even give it a little bit of rotation in one direction and have it have like a leaning down a little bit, maybe even a little bit on this, and have it look differently, which is always good to not have it just going in the one direction like that. Cool. And again, we have the seed. We can make the seed and the scale, change the scale, change the seed of the scale, etc. You can see now we just built a really useful asset really quickly. Is there any limitations on HDAs created with the full version versus the indie version? Yeah, same license stuff applies for assets. If you created an asset in the indie version and you open it in the full version, it will come down to the indie version. So it's just the same as if you opened a file. Same thing applies for the licensing. If you create one with the full version, I think you can open it with the indie version. Yeah, but again, if you go the other way, you create it in the indie version and use it in the full version, and your version will go down to indie. That will happen. Exactly the same as if you open a file. It's the same thing. All right, so gonna have a drink in my fancy visual effects cup. And I think we're done for today. We have a nice tool. It's useful. You can share it. You can sell it online for $1 million and you can become millionaire. And give me a share of that because I told you how to do it. All right, so thank you guys for being here. This was fun. This is a tool that I want to keep developing for me, for even stuff like this that I want to maybe do very quickly. Even if this, again, you guys know that you can just put whatever geometry here and it will work. Again, if you're doing this, maybe you would just use hair or something similar, but it's sometimes you need to randomize geometry and stuff like that, and this is how we would do it. All right, guys, that was fun. I like building stuff, and I really didn't plan any of this at all. This was totally live. I didn't have any of this plan, and everything came out cool. So I hope you guys like this, and it looks like hair. Cool. I know that I will be using this tool a lot. So hope you like it. Hope you find this useful, and I will see you in next edition of LearnDay. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot, and let's keep learning together, and I will see you guys in the next one. Next Wednesday, same time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and if you haven't, just subscribe to the channel so you get all the news about this crazy thing we do. Alright guys, thank you again. See you later. Bye.